Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the market close. Today's the day. Today's the day we find out if anybody in the community won a gold coin. I have not yet spun. I'm sitting here. Scratched. I am ready to scratch. I have been ready to scratch all day. I'm not very lucky, so I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen. But nonetheless, we're ready. We're ready. And I thought that would be a great way to start this off before we jump right into the news. All right, guys, let's take a look and let's see, how does this work? Whoa. Oh, there's a, let's see. No, there's sad coins. There's sad coins. At first, it's like, don't show me coins. But they're sad coins, so I lost. Oh, boy. All right. You guys, one of you, please, one of you win. One of you win. I'm hoping. Well, sad news continues. We got a red market. What can I say? Yeah. It's not good. It's not good. Oil, even though oil's up, it's just not enough. Everything else mostly down, other than crypto. Crypto also had a good day. So we're definitely, we're definitely seeing not the best market out there. And gosh, I kind of said yesterday, I thought it was going to be red. So I'm not surprised. I guess I'm not surprised. Oil at one point reached $108. We're talking Brent. And that's even despite the fact that we had the biggest ever release. So we're talking the IEA, they released 400 million barrels, and that was supposed to calm things down, but it did not. We also had more tankers. More tankers were hit overnight. Now, I did hear that one tanker got through without getting hit. So that's good news, I guess. One tanker making it through, but nonetheless, Trump came out with a new comment where he says, we're not babysitting tankers. So whatever happened to this whole, we'll escort you through, we'll get you through, don't worry about it. But yeah, it's not good. And obviously, from the Canadian angle, when we look at the heavy oil discount, so we're actually talking WCS, so Western Canadian Select to WTI, it narrowed a little bit today, down to about $8. So one of the few bright spots. So kind of like we've been worried about Canada's oil not really reflecting what's been happening. So we're starting to see some of that reflection today. We're going to see that, of course, once we get into the data. But let's get into the data. First of all, let's pull up. Whoa. Let's pull up a blank screen. Oh, God, did I not? Yeah, I did not pull up. All right, give me a second here, guys. I'm going to bring this up as soon as it lets me. Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. It's like, don't give us any technical difficulties today. There we go. And there we go. Share. And bang, boom, there it is. Absolutely. Whew. So as you can see, we do have a little bit of green towards the end of the day. Our last candle, the candle we're on right now, this hour, we are seeing some green, but too little, too late. We are down big time. So we are down on the day. We're down 0.66%. But you can see this has been, I mean, look at this. Not great, not great. In fact, if we take a look in the last month, we're down 2.77%. Most of that's in the last week. In fact, the last week alone, we're down 2.15%. So not looking great. Now, amazingly enough, on our 1 year, so going from March 13th of last year to March 13th of this year, we're actually up 33.88%. So it's not as bad as it seems. Yeah, we're not used to us going down. We're not used to this direction, but we're still doing really, really well. So I just want to put that into perspective. So if we go well, yesterday, I called this month red yesterday. So, and I even said, guys, I'm so confident that this month is going to be red that if we somehow make it back to the green before the end of the month, if we get above that blue line, my first stream in April, I'll be wearing a green Santa hat. I will wear a green Santa hat. It's not in style. Yeah, it'll be embarrassing. I'm gonna do it. I will do it. So we'll see. We'll see if the universe wants to keep the status quo or wants to embarrass me. One of the two is going to happen. So we will definitely be seeing that. All right, looking south of the border, let's pull up. Whoa, let's not do that. Those are the heat maps. All right, south of the border, same story. S&P 500 is down 0.58%. Also, well on its way for a red month, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have a red month on the S&P 500 as well. Now, our one hope, I think, in the U.S. right now is well, it felt like a hope yesterday, but today it's not feeling as much. The Nasdaq, I was going to say NAVAC, although sometimes right now everything feels like it's sucking, so it is kind of a NAVAC. But the Nasdaq is definitely pushing its way down. It is 0.66% down. Like I said, there's not a lot of good news today. Not a lot of good news. The Dow Jones Industrial down 0.23%, and still pushing their ways down. And then, of course, those little stocks are Russell, our small cap. They are also down 0.55. And you might be saying, where's that blue line? It's way up there. It's way up there. Look up, look way up, in the words of the Friendly Giant. That's what you got to do to see that blue line. All right. Commodities, as I mentioned, not doing great. Look at this. Gold down 0.89. Silver, hi-ho silver on the way down, I guess, 0.387. Copper down 1.58. Platinum down 4.34. But here we go. Crypto. Oil. So WTI is up almost 1%, so 0.99, and Brent is up 1.43. So Brent currently over $100 a barrel, sitting at 102. It did make it at one point. Well, here, let me pull this up here. At one point here, well, back here, at one point we made it all the way up to $119. So that's pretty high. It's pretty high. And crypto. So Bitcoin also doing good. Now, this is interesting, guys. We were looking yesterday, a couple days ago, I kind of drew this in where I thought everything was going to go. And it kind of did exactly that. It went down, it went up, it went down, it went up, and it broke out. You can see my little arrow going up here. It broke a little higher than my arrow, but I never actually, if I was going to, interestingly enough, if I was going to actually chart that arrow, I would have been looking at right about there. Now, so yeah, pretty close. Now it has come back down, but here's the question. Maybe this channel, maybe this resistance at the top might be flipping to a support, because look, it already seems like Bitcoin has bounced off of it a little bit. So we'll pay attention. We'll see what Bitcoin is going to do. It would be very interesting because there's always this chance. Holy cow. I'm going to draw some more. There's always this chance that we could see a situation where this will come back up to about here and then come back down and then back up. So we have a chance of it doing that. And that would form, of course, I'll just draw it in here. That would form a new channel. That is a possibility. That is a possibility. But I'll tell you, it's way too soon to start even really thinking about the channel. But I'm just sort of looking and saying, okay, there's a possible scenario. Not a high confidence, but it is possible. So I'll leave that there. We'll leave that there and we'll see what happens. Obviously, we're going into the weekend, and sometimes Bitcoin can do funky things over the weekend. So that'll be interesting. Ethereum is also up 1.32. All right, heading to the heat maps. Whew, I wish I had some marshmallows to roast because these heat maps are red hot. All right, well, actually, this one's not that bad. This is Canada, And I'm going to just very quickly, I'm pretty sure I did this. Yeah, I did this before I started the stream, but I felt like there should be more red here. But yeah, the banks, kind of half the banks are, well, pretty deep in the red. Half the banks are kind of flat. So like TD's pretty flat, down 0.03. Royal Bank's only down 0.13. National Bank's only down 0.12. Then the other half, much more into the red. Bank of Montreal leads them all into the hole with 1.28 down. Our precious metals, our non-energy minerals, I think that's what they call them. They're down quite a bit. Look at this. Wheat and precious metals down 2.82. Barrick is down almost 4%. Cameco, our uranium friend, down a good 4.37%. Now, oil, like I said, we're starting to see a little bit of strength in here. Other than Cenovus, I don't know why they're down. But look at this. Canadian Natural Resources up 0.68. Cenovus up. Torlamine up. Our pipelines looking pretty good. Enbridge up a 1.58. Not too shabby. TC Energy up 1.42. So not too bad. Pembina Pipelines, they're up 1.19. Looking at the United States, technology definitely taking a hit today. Meta really, look at that, 4.11% down. Microsoft almost 2%, so 1.75. Google's down almost 1%. Apple's down a couple of percent. Nvidia 1.5. Broadcom 4.20% down. Tesla's down about 1% as well. Eli Lilly's up though, but Johnson & Johnson is kind of flat. Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a mix mash in there as well. JP Morgan, they're up a little bit if you like the JP Morgan. Oh boy. And of course, heading over to crypto. Let's get our crypto out of the way. This is our crap coin of the day. It's a green day, so I like to choose a red coin. Let's zoom on in. All right, and we could choose any of these. Let's do this one here. Let's pull it up. Let's see what we got. Oh, and I'm going to move my head. Thundercore. Okay. I do not know what the Thundercore is. It might have been like the smaller version of the Thunderdome before it became, I don't know. I don't know what this is, guys. It is a Thundercore. So it is, it's not worth much. It's worth 0.08 or, well, basically, if we round it up, 0.09 of a penny. It is very, very volatile. Look at this. I mean, that looks looks like the heart rate of somebody on amphetamine. I mean, it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty intense. But nonetheless, guys, I do not want to get, this will never be a core holding for me. Even though I love the weather, I don't love Thundercore. If you are interested in Thundercore, obviously, first of all, find out what it is. Maybe it's a game. I don't know. It could be anything. Read the white paper. Maybe follow the developers on social media. Find out what it's about. Make sure it makes sense before you add it to your core. Otherwise, you might get zapped. So we're going to leave this one alone. There is money to be made in crypto, guys. It's with the big coins. So you know which ones I'm talking about. We're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, Solana, and gosh darn it, even the Dogecoin. All right, let's get ourselves back here to the TSX. All right. Oh, look at that. We're now 0.91 down. Can we get the whole percent down? Maybe that's it. We should all cheer to go down, and then it'll turn around on us. All right. And let's head back to the chat. And right out of the gate, Wahipple in with a gifted Mountain Finance membership. Thank you, Wahipple. And that, guys, that is our first goat of the day. It is our evil monopoly goat, but I like it. I like it. We do have the Financial Express on today for Monday. So if we want to add a Monday show, that's what we're working towards. All right, let's zip on back. And thank you once again, Wahipple. Lance is in the house. Good afternoon, everyone. Um, and let's see, Isaiah, hey y'all. All right, and guys, I want to see in chat if you lost at that coin, let us know that you lost. I want we're doing a coin roll call or a scratch, the Wealthsimple thing. All right. Let's see here. Azenial, good afternoon. Another brutal day, except for my Utes and ENCL. Do you think it could backfire if I trimmed banks and tech and added to these right now? Maybe. There's a higher probability that that could happen, and it's just kind of one of those things, like, because you're going to be, you're going to take, I don't think you would be at a loss on these other ones, especially if you've been in them for a while. But the amount that you lost and the amount that those will recover on the other side of this, is there that much more room for oil to go? There might be, but all it takes is one event. One event that the war sort of comes to an end. I don't think it's gonna though, but still, I would say that there's higher risk to that for sure. So I would think really hard before you do it. But also, look at this is what I do. I will look at the worst case. Okay, here's worst case scenario if I do this. Can I live with the worst case scenario? If the answer is no, then I don't do it. If the answer is yeah, I can live with that. That would be fine. I'll recover from that. That's not a big issue. Then I'm a little more inclined. All right. And Lance says no gold coin for me, sadly. Oh boy. Scott, won't somebody please make the red go away? Happy Friday all from Stan. Brian says, good afternoon, everyone. And I didn't win a coin. My daughter did not either. Oh, and your daughter got 100,000 on one of her rolls. Holy banana bread. They must have been giving out those 100,000s like like a lot, maybe. GSY. What WTH are you doing going? Wait a minute. Is Go Easy going up? That would be kind of funny. Let's take a quick look. Oh my gosh. Because yesterday they kind of felt like they were in a death spiral. Oh well, yeah, they're coming up a little bit. Of course, it could just be a dead cat bounce. Ah, boy. Yeah, like look at this. They're slowly a little bit, but we'll have to see. Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, the people that their clientele, those are the people who are being hurt the most by what's happening in the economy. Those are the people that if they're going to default on loans, those are the people who are going to be defaulting. Not all of them. Not all of them. I don't want to make it sound like everybody who is in that boat, is unreliable. No, but a lot of people who are unreliable end up going through things like Easy Financial and that. So yeah, there's a lot of people in there that, and it's not even a fault of their own. It's not like they're choosing to not pay back Easy Financial because they want to, they saw some fancy thing on YouTube on Amazon that they wanted instead. It's usually a situation where it's like, well, do I pay my mortgage or do I pay for my furniture? Well, if you don't pay your mortgage, what are you going to do with that furniture when they throw you out of your house? So, it's kind of like that. All right. And yes, we got the Nightbot in here letting you guys know about the market close. All right. Oh, it looks like there should be more to that. Well, it looks like it got cut off. I might have to edit that to get it a little bit smaller, maybe. Let's see. Lance says, bought the dip in XMA today. Curious to see what next week brings. Yeah, I'm kind of curious too. I did watch, I was watching a lot of different documentaries and news commentary stuff yesterday. And there is one of them where they're saying one of the biggest problems right now is that they don't know where the uranium is. So all of that uranium that has been enriched by, by Iran, they're hiding it. And there's really no way the U.S. can find it. I mean, they'd have to send troops in, and even then, So it's just turning into a mess. I think that's what it's boiling down to, is that it is just turning into a mess. And I think Trump bit off more than he thought he bit off when he when he did this. All right. Anise says, "Hey, hopes you all will have a great weekend. Also for you. Also for you." Let's see. He won't escort tankers, but he'll escort the market into the tank. There we go. Brian says, "I'm DCAing MSTE down to 508 average cost. Also had some limit orders for 149 KRN that triggered a few minutes ago." Okay, there we go. And Rory says EIT is still being stubborn, won't come down yet. Well, you got to keep in mind though, EIT, one of their key holdings, is, well, energy. Energy is one of the sectors. It's energy, financials, and healthcare for the most part. So, this is not ideal for those to be falling. Red market and snow. What the heck? Says Samantha. We're supposed to get snow. I don't think it's started yet, but it's coming. It's coming tonight. In fact, we're supposed to get, well, it was 10 to 15, but I think it got pushed back. I think it got put, I don't know now. You know what, guys? Let's go to the Weather Network. I will go to the Weather Network. I don't care. Yeah, it looks like, it doesn't look like it's going to be that much now. So, so maybe 5, when it's all said and done, maybe 5 centimeters over the weekend. So, yeah, this is much better. At one point, it was looking to be 10 centimeters or more. Well, here it's saying right now, okay, yeah, I guess that's not including today. So 5 apparently tonight and 5 overnight. So maybe 10 centimeters by the morning. We'll have to see. I don't know. All right. Lance says, "I read that some of these oil reserves are still on the wrong side of the Strait of Hormuz, and releasing them might not have the full relief effect they're hoping for." Well, so far it hasn't. So far it definitely hasn't. All right. And we got Mary in the house with a hello all. And guys, Mary is our official captain of the like button. So if you have not hit that like button yet, now's the time to get a friendly reminder. We are currently sitting at 25 likes. Let's double that, guys. Let's get that to 50. Then we'll go from there. But you guys can do it. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to have some coffee. Annie says, one of the Arabic countries have a pipeline into the Red Sea. Good question. I don't know. That I don't know at all. But if anybody does know, or if you want to Google it, yeah, let us know in the chat, please. All right. Navigale says S&P 500 close to the 200 moving average might get a rebound with what's going on. The S&P 500 should be down much more compared to previous wars. Yeah, I heard that. I heard that we are getting pretty close to the 200 moving average. So we'll have to see how it responds to that. And here's the thing, though. Black swan events don't respect support levels. I'm just going to put that out there. Black swan events, and this is and wars tend to be a black swan event. So, I take a lot of these moving averages with a grain of salt right now, because there's no guarantee that they're going to get respected at all. Let's see. Brian says, "I was up 0.79% this morning, down 0.21 now." So they will pump out the oil that way. Yeah, if they can get the oil out another way, that would be fantastic. But sometimes, if, I guess, yeah, as long as that pipeline is already geared to pump in that direction, because it's not always easy to switch up the direction a pump works in. Let's see. VFE should be at bargain prices soon. Oh, I imagine. I mean, things are still coming down. So, there's got to be, I think there's going to be a lot of buy the dip opportunities before the month is done. Rory, I love this fair, building up capital right now. And let's see. Hydro 1 is above $60 for the first time. Oh, are they? Let's take a look. Here we go. Hydro 1, one of the easiest tickers ever. H. There we go. Oh, look at that. $60.09. And yeah, take a look. And we'll even back out, I mean, this has been a company that I like Hydro One. They have, they've been moving in the right direction for a long time, So this is a good company, good utility company. All right. Nice says a similar strategy is used by the United Arab Emirates via their pipeline to Fujairah, which exits into the Gulf of Oman, just also outside the closed strait. Okay. I like that. Yeah. I mean, there's any workarounds that are available. Obviously, yeah, they got to use them. They got to use them for sure. Rory, looking at diversified royalty for 390. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Now it's funny. That used to be a good price for DIV, but now that's kind of like a bargain price because being over $4 has become kind of the norm lately. Lisa says hi everyone. Rory, HYLD at 12 to 12.50 for a buy. And let's see. Anise says, I am happy my Canadian companies is green and I am still alive. All right. Yeah, that's true. CPCC falling. Hope it recovers soon. Wow, let's take a look. We haven't looked here in a bit. No, yeah. Oh, look at that. Nice $3. $3. 3.90%. Yeah, and we're going to take a look here. So yeah, I mean, copper has certainly not done well with this war. This war hasn't been great on copper. I'm still highly bullish on copper long term. So I will tell you right now, I'm adding more CPCC. And if it goes lower, I'll add even more. That's the way I roll on this one. I really love this ETF. All right, Rory, in my opinion, this could be a once in a 10-year opportunity to get businesses that you like to hold until the grave. Yes, absolutely. And this is the thing. People right now, and this is, you guys are doing it, not all of you, but a lot of people are complaining, oh my God, it's so red, it's so horrible. But, some of the deals that you're going to be able to get with this are going to be deals that are going to make you money on the other side. I mean, we haven't even seen bear market prices on any of this stuff yet. We're looking at, we're just looking at pretty much a slight correction level prices. So what can I say? I will point, oh boy, guys, let me point something out here. We had a report today that dropped. Oh boy, not a great report in Canada, but actually, here, let's go to stocks and investing. Canada calendar. Oh boy. So yeah, here it is. Unemployment. So unemployment, first of all, has come in at 6.7. Now, it was kind of forecast. It was forecast to come in at 6.7. So we were expecting it, even though it was forecast at 6.7, the average prediction was 6.6. But nonetheless, 6.7, not that surprising. But what is surprising is look at this. A huge 83,000. So 83.9 thousand jobs gone. And here's the interesting thing. If you look at full-time jobs, 108,000 gone. Now, we made it up by some part-time jobs coming back. That certainly helped, but bad job numbers in Canada for sure. Now, we were actually only anticipating, well, the forecast was minus 15, but when you look at the difference between forecast and consensus, forecast is kind of where, well, consensus is where everybody comes in together. They all agree on it, but it was as low as 15,000. Nonetheless, not good numbers. We got the bell coming up here in just a second, and I also see a question coming up, a super chat. And we're going to get to that a second the bell is done. All right. Oh, come on, gosh. All right, we got about 5 seconds. And I'm going to go big screen for this because this is our weekend starting. All right, guys, the market and the week. The market and the week are finally done. They're finally done. So I love it. I love it. All right. Now we do have a super chat coming in. John is saying, are you a liberal or conservative and why? All right. Great question. Great question. I love this question. All right. We're going to get to this in just 1 second. First of all, that is our second GOAT squad. So that's our base street. Wow, this actually timed up with the bell. So I think that's the first time we've ever had that happen. We're 2 away from adding a Monday show. All right, politics. I try not to talk politics, but absolutely, I think it's good for people to sort of know my position in politics. So if you I'm what I consider. I consider myself a small C conservative. So, where the current Conservative Party is, they're a little bit further right than I like to be. Um, Obviously, the NDP are way off on the side. The current Liberal, they're closer. They're closer to where I want to be, and I think that's just because I feel like Carney is kind of like an old progressive conservative. And that was my party growing up, the PC party. So, yeah, small C conservative, but and I kind of like it here because I can look at both sides. So I can look at, some of the policies coming out of Poilievre's conservatives as well as coming out of Carney's liberals, and I can kind of get a grasp on both. And a lot of times I will voice my opinion on a particular policy based on whether it's good or not. And I don't care which party it comes from, to be very honest. So, small C conservative, that's just kind of where I'm sitting. If you were to look at if you had an exact middle point, I'm not there. I am drifting a little to the right, but I'm not as far right as the current Conservative Party. And that's fine. And depending on the leader, sometimes it moves a little bit. It moves a little bit. All right. Okay. Let's. Oh, and the why. That's a really good question. I think a part of it, obviously, is when you look at the fiscal side of things. Obviously, I love numbers. I love math. I love I love responsible budgets. I don't like extra spending. So yeah, and that's where I think a lot of my stuff does drift to the right, is for a lot of the fiscal side of things. I do find that the left tends to spend a lot sometimes. And you know what? And I'm okay with spending on social programs and spending on supports. But as long as they make sense. And I very much don't like when we start getting into patriotism and things like that. And we've had some pretty bad scandals on the left that I am absolutely not behind in any way, shape, or form. All right. Now, before I start stammering on that one, let's get back to where we were. All right. I believe we were right here. Brian saying Thundercore is only down 98% lifetime. Load the boat. Nowhere to go but up now. Yeah, I don't want Thundercore. All right, could be, not will be. All right, let's see here. Financial Express. So we are halfway to the Financial Express. Scott says coin. Yep. No gold coin for me either. Oh my gosh. Somebody, please, somebody win. I wanted at least one person in the community to win. Doorpat says, hi all, did anyone win? So far, I have not seen a winner. So far it looks like we all lost. Doorpat, he can't escort tankers. He will lose more military personnel. Yeah. And he's shipping, like he's mobilizing Marines, a bunch of Marines to head over there now. So if you were going to try to take control of the Hormuz Strait, if you were going to try to take control of it, that's the type of people you'd be sending over there. So maybe we could be seeing, and I don't want to see that, only because I think that could just make things a lot messier, but I think that's probably going to happen. All right, Kelly says, I did buy a dreaded penny stock today, only bought a little bit, and it's a Canadian copper stock, SURG. All right, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at SURG here. All right, I kind of like that ticker. Surge. Here we go. Surge Copper. Oh boy, they're down. So yeah, today they are down, what, 4.28%? Well, technically 4.29 if we do some rounding there. But it has been moving in the right direction. This is what I always say about these penny stocks is you want to be careful because they can move pretty darn fast, both directions. So you want to make sure that, if you're investing in it, I like to say play money. So basically that's the money that you're okay with losing if your speculation goes the wrong way. Now, with that being said, let's take a quick gander at the back end of this company. All right, so doesn't look like they have any debt, but they're not profitable. At least the last time they did their last quarterly, they were not profitable. Their return on equity negative 4.43, but it looks like they're getting close. It looks like they're moving towards profitability, and that's a good thing. So it could be, this could play out, this could work out for you. If you only put a little bit in, I'd ride it out, see what happens for sure. That's what I would do. Paul says, good afternoon. Brian says, I have about 7 or 8 centimeters here, still snowing. Oh my gosh. Paul has 4 degrees Celsius. Let's see, we have had snow that doesn't stay. Someone who works for the CRA probably won the coin. Maybe. Let's see. Ian says, just popped in to say hi and hit the like button. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the like button. Let me refresh and see if we got to that 50, guys. All right, we'll see. We'll see what you guys did. Now you got a little way. You got halfway there, 36. All right, you guys need more time. Nee says, an idea for the next goat you make. Yeah, well, the next new goat, and I have to have this, I got to make this tomorrow. Because today is the last day because after we do our normal 4 goats, we got 1 extra goat in there. That extra goat is our holiday goat. So this one's a St. Patrick's Day goat, and St. Patrick's Day, I think, is tomorrow. So that goat will be retired. So starting on Sunday, we'll have the new goat, and the next goat's going to be an Easter goat. All right. Brian said, snowplow just went down my street. That's good. I am at the top of a hill. And Nee says, a tropical goat with a sun hat and singing cold to drink. A real stock winner. Or something cold to drink. Okay. Do you feel the same way with the gold and silver as you do with the copper? Yeah, I'm bullish on basically when you look at the periodic table of the elements. And let's do it. Let's do it. I want to. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the periodic table. All right, just periodic table. I just need a good one here. This one will do. This one will do. All right, can I make it big? Whoops, actually, I should share it at the same time. All right, so right here, the way the periodic table, so anybody who's not into chemistry, let me just quickly give you a tiny, tiny chemistry lesson. So the table is grouped in specific ways. So for example, it basically has to do with how many electrons are left in different orbitals. So we're not going to get into that. Don't worry. But the key thing is, because they have similar chemical, basically electron properties, they tend to have very similar properties. Now over here, we got group 11 right here. So I'm going to pull it up. There, ooh, there we are. And you'll notice in group 11, we have copper, silver, gold, and we won't worry about 111 rotinium. 1, I believe it's radioactive. Oh, it is. Yeah, there's a little radioactive sign there. And 2, it's also man-made, so it's not a naturally occurring element. But because these all have very similar atomic structures on their outer core, obviously each one gets bigger as you go down. But their outer core means that they have very similar ways that they react, especially when it comes to electrical conductivity. So this group here, so copper, silver, and gold, highly, highly conductive. And that's fantastic. And what's really interesting is when you get to gold, so AU is gold, by the way, AG is silver. Actually, it's funny. Back in high school, when when we were learning the elements in chemistry, somebody, when they saw AU was for gold, they said, oh, that makes sense. It's like, AU, let go of my gold. And I still remember that. But anyway, gold is a little bit different than these two. One, because it's so much more dense. It's a lot heavier. It's more compact. And it's also non-corrosive. So when you are looking, if you absolutely need to have something electrical, like electrical wiring that does not corrode, you're going to go with gold. You'll find it on a lot of circuit boards. But you're going to find all of those. So I'm bullish on this entire row. So copper, silver, gold. Very, very bullish because of where they exist on the periodic table, because of the chemical properties that they have. Nobody else has them. So you know, if you want to do electronics, you gotta go with these. You gotta go with them. And you know, copper obviously being the most common, although you know we are heading towards a copper shortage, but it's still one of the most common of the three, of course. But yeah, I'm bullish on that whole group. So group 11 right here, group 11. All right. Punky says, hello, everybody. I picked up some MSTE yesterday, and it's up over 3%. Nice. Brian, CPCC is a long-term buy, 2030 and beyond. It will pay off well. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Punky did not get a gold coin, and Rory's looking to buy XEQ at 36 to 39. Nice. All right. And, oh, I just see something there. I see something. We've got another gifted Mountain Finance membership. This time, Osgurk. Osgurk has received a membership. Congratulations, Osgurk. And that is my favorite goat. This one's my favorite, guys. Space Goat. So that does put us one away from adding a show on Monday. So, you know, it's looking pretty good for a Monday show, guys. We, of course, also have a show on Sunday. That's our normal weekend show. That goes ahead, rain or shine. Rain or shine. All right. Now, let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, one left, Financial Express. Perlovia, any gold winners in here? So far, I've not seen any. Neil says, who? Well, I don't know. I haven't seen anybody. Kelly says, practical politics. Yes, absolutely. But no, you know, and I don't mind. Like, I don't mind people asking me, like, where my politics lie, because you know, especially if you know, you're coming to the show. Some of you are left, some of you are right, some of you don't give a damn. Either way. But nonetheless, it's kind of good to know where my biases sit, because obviously it will color. Now, where I'm in the middle, a lot of times my biases are going to be, you know, more moderate. And that's just, you know, that's fine. I don't mind that. But that's what I like about my position, is that I can, like I said, I can see both sides pretty clearly. And sometimes I'll even look at an argument, a right-left argument, and I'm just like, oh my God, they're both wrong. You know, or most times they're both right, which is one of those things that's it's kind of fun, because usually what happens is, you know, the right will grab one point of a topic, the left will grab a different point, and sometimes both points are right, and they're both arguing things that are right. So I'm like, there's no way you can really win this argument, guys, because you're both right. And sometimes they're both wrong, of course. It always, you know, that's how politics work. And actually, one of the worst things about politics, and it doesn't matter what side of the row you're sitting on, they all do it, is they have a habit of not answering the question that's being asked. You know, I've seen the liberals do it. I've seen the conservatives do it. And it drives me crazy. I'm like, guys, even if you don't want to answer the question, at least start to answer the question, then steer it to whatever talking point you want to go. But at least at least acknowledge the question in some way, shape, or form. All right, Perlovia, my weak swing trader was AQN. Much thank you. Let's see how they did. They were doing a little better, weren't they? They were. Let me just take a look here. I'm kind of curious. AQN. Now, AQN, oh, good, up another 140. Good. I like AQN. I like AQN. And I did mention here, and here, let's pull this up. They had this little fall, and a lot of people were worried. And I said, I'm not really worried about them. I did put them on my list of stocks to watch for this year. So yeah, they did have a little bit of a fall, but they're starting to make it back up. They're starting to make it back up. And even right now at 8.7, I mean, that's well above where they've been most of the year. So this is really not that bad. It's not that bad at all. All right. Anil says, so looking out, no one knows their right from their left. Sometimes. Martin did not win a gold coin. Let's see. How long have the construction cranes been at Parliament? That's a really great question. I don't know the exact length of time, but they've at least been there for more than 3 years, probably closer to 5 years. Yeah, and I did watch a video. I watched a video on YouTube about it. Gosh, I probably watched it about 6 months ago, just talking about some of the rebuilding parts of the Peace Tower and things like that, and that's kind of what's been taking it up. So, all right, let's see. What are scams? Frauds. Okay, nice copper. I'm not sure what you're asking about with the scams and the frauds, but then again, I am about 12 minutes behind where you made those comments, Neil. So I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about. Brian, yes, it's been a day since we haven't seen what you are looking at. I know. I'm gonna try. Lisa says, how do I know if I won the Wealthsimple gold coin? I'm sure I didn't, but how do I know for sure? So you go in and you click on that little gift. You know that gift at the top? I think it's up at the top right. And it will bring you to a page that has all other offers. The very top one should say something about, check to see if you're a winner. And then it will bring you to basically a scratch card. And you just click on the scratch card and it'll let you scratch it off. And you can see what's underneath of it. And that'll let you know. Hopefully, hey, maybe you won. I hope so. Indicative of fraud. Once again, I'm not 100% sure. All right. Rain says, what do you think about the defense sector? Trump Carney going to increase spending, rest of NATO planning on meeting targets, XAD, SHLD, good ETFs, mainly USA and European exposure respectively, not so much Canadian. I do like Shield. I think Shield is going to do fantastic, but you're right, it is mostly US in there. One company that I think will benefit pretty big on the Canadian side for defense is actually going to be MDA Space. Now, MDA Space, they're going to be, especially when you look at Arctic, some of our Arctic defense, so that's where they're going to be, that's where they're really going to be instrumental. Whoa, I ended up on the TSX Venture 50. I didn't want to go there. I want to go to MDA. Here we go. Let's try this again. MDA. All right, there we go. Bang. All right, and yeah, they've had a rocky year so far. I did put them on my list of stocks to watch this year as well. They lost a big contract to SpaceX, so that certainly hurt them. But I think they're going to be fine. I think as we develop our Arctic defense further, and that's going to be a big thing, they're in a position to really benefit from that. And I think they're going to get a lot of business. So I do like MDA Space quite a bit. Paul, let's see. I recalculated my returns to calendar years, August 31st, 2023 to EO end of year 2023, 1.48, 2024, 36.1, 2025, 43.5, 2026 year to date, minus 10.8. Yikes. Cager, 24.9 over 2.53 years. Tesla is down to 14.5 year to date, so other holdings help. Yeah. Now Tesla was in the news today. I think they're allowed to convert their XAI holdings to SpaceX, and I don't know exactly what that meant. I just read a headline, but there's something going on in that as well. Rory, do a spring cleaning goat. Well, maybe after Easter we can look at maybe spring cleaning. That would be cool. You know, a goat trying to clean things. St. Pat's. Do you ever make a scuba diving goat or a beach goat? I've never yet, but we could. I mean, you know, we'll need some summer goats, I think, in the summer. Let's see. Rendu says, word, Candace. Good Friday, y'all. All right. Yeah, good Friday to you as well. Brian says, second time today, no screen. Really? Oh. This is why a lot of times I just leave myself in the circle. I'm like, this way here, you get to, I don't forget the screens. St. Patty's Day is on Tuesday this year. Tuesday. Oh, is it the 17th? Why was I thinking it was the 14th? Well, that might be Maybe I'm getting it confused with Valentine's, I think. Is it the 17th? All right, so I guess the Easter goat won't be out till then. Oh my gosh, why? Yeah, you're right, the 17th. Oh my gosh, for the likes of me, I really thought it was the 14th, but okay, there we go. Ray says, love your point of view. More chances for the goat. Yeah, absolutely. Scott, I lost all my electrons and now I'm just an empty shell. Oh my God. All right. Yeah, you get the laughing goat for that one. I am a sucker for chemistry jokes for sure. I like a good chemistry joke. I'll give you guys a chemistry joke. Why not? This is lame. It's a lame chemistry joke. But all right, if you were to look at a fire hydrant, inside, of course, you've got water, which is H2O. But what do you got on the outside? All right, and I'll wait till you guys answer. It might take 12 minutes to get there. Kelly says, it's a groaned Scott, but sees a chem gal, so I bet you get a laughing goat. Oh my God, that was a good guess. Good guess. Let's see. The computer plug-in cartridges were not gold-plated, so you have to take an eraser to the traces that went into the slot. Oh, let's see. Groner, I really need to turn off autocorrect. I agree. Uh-oh, I just saw something here. All right, let's see here. Oh boy, we got a couple of things. All right, so Martin comes in with a gifted Mountain Finance membership. So, I missed this one. Martin, how did I miss this one? All right. Yeah, that came in about 10 minutes ago. I missed this one. I apologize, but that's number 4. And that brings out Professor Goat. So we got Math Goat out. We also have secured a show for Monday. Yeah, I have to remember what day of the week it is. So yeah, that puts a Monday show on the calendar. Awesome. And, oh boy, Tyler came in with a super sticker. That's the holiday goat. Oh boy. All right. Let's just do it. Here we go. Oh God, it was really funny when I first saw it. It's still funny. But it's not cracking me up as much as it did. The first time I saw this, I absolutely cracked. I think I made some very high-pitched squeal noises, but yeah, I still love it. I think it's fantastic. Music and all. We'll have a similar one for Easter. But we got a few more days. On this one. All right, now I think I'm all caught up. And let me turn off that Financial Express because we won't need that until Monday. All right, awesome sauce. Now, now to get back to wherever I was. I know where I was. Let's see here. I was about there, right here. All right. Boron, and sand will cause problems on their own, but don't see any other way. Why are you putting boron on? I guess so. All right. Ian says, I finished in the green somehow. My managed account was down. I might take over that account when I get back to Canada. All right. Probably not a bad idea. Actually, guys, we can see if we made it to 1% down on that on that TSX. I actually meant to do this. There we go. No, 0.91 is where we finished on the day. So yeah, everything's still looking everything's still looking pretty pretty red, WTI seems to have come up a little bit more, and there's Bitcoin doing its thing. Look, it's still doing it. It's still following my line. So we'll have to see how that goes. All right, Paul says, I assume if you won a gold coin at Wealthsimple, you would have gotten an email or a notification inside the app. I don't know if they would do that or not. We need somebody to win to tell us if they got notified before they did the scratch. Let's see here. Anise says 45 likes. We can do better to support the channel. I agree. Do we only have 45? Holy banana bread. I'll just refresh the test box and take a look here in a second. 48. Guys, just get 2 in there really fast. Get 2 in there fast, and we'll go from there. Rory, bring your red portfolio to the Liberal government and demand a refund. I don't think it works that way, Rory. Scott, check your notifications in the Wealthsimple app if you haven't done the scratch. Well, maybe. That's what I'm saying. Maybe. Like I said, I really don't know how that works. Besson says, I've been trading oil all week and I'm tired. Was up 25% during the big spike. Still regret no selling. Yeah. Yeah, that big spike would have been a good time to sell for sure. But if this continues to get worse, maybe you'll get another opportunity. Oh, Rory, I'm shaving off 20% of the top of CNQ should it reach $70 a share. Yeah, absolutely. Paul said, just scratched, showing the sad face. Yeah. Yep. Tom, have you ever had a step down on a swing trade backfire on you? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's always that thing, because it's one of the things, like, if I don't do my homework first, and there's been times where I'm just like, okay, yeah, it's going down. I'm just going to do a quick step trade. And then it turns around on me. So a lot of times if it's in a prolonged down, I might chart it, and that's kind of that thing to do. So, is it in a new channel? Maybe it's in a new channel. Maybe it's in a descending channel. But yeah, sometimes it will go back. Sometimes it does backfire. And if it does, you just take your loss, you move on. That's pretty much what I do in a case like that. Lately they haven't backfired, but I'm also the type too that a lot of times, like if I go into a step down trade and if it reverses right away and it starts going up, sometimes I'll just wait and see what happens. And then sometimes it may only go up a little bit and then it comes back down further. And then at that point, step trade back on. So it does sometimes work out that way too, but it can happen for sure. Keep the gold coin. The house is more interesting. Oh, okay. So Neil is saying MDA Space is a scam. All right. Oh, that's an interesting. I've never heard anybody call it that before. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. Well, hey, let me ask this. Why do you think it's a scam? Give me some information to go on, and then we can look at it from there for sure. Scott, search YouTube for why Canada blasted a huge hole outside its parliament. Okay. Lisa said, thanks, Candace. I got 3 sad faces, so I guess that means I lost. In the rules, it says you need to have a self-directed account if you are a winner. If not, you have to open one to collect your prize. Oh, that's cool. So then that to me indicates that they were going to just give it to you. Like they probably would have just given you, you know how you can hold gold? I bet you they'd just give you that amount in that, in that holding, and then you could sell it and pull it out. That's a good, better way. I wish I could have experienced that, but nonetheless. Let's see. Tyler says if we had sharply lower, what growth ETF will you look to add in size? Personally, one I'm adding is QQCL. Yeah, I mean, obviously, on the other side, I think there's still a lot of room for tech to rebound. So I think QQCL is I think is a smart choice. I like it. Of course, if you could also go QQCC if you're if you want to avoid the leverage part. But I always look at it this way: leverage does cut in both directions, and if you're holding it long term, it's not a big issue because obviously whatever you lose going down, the extra 25%, you gain that extra 25% when you rebound. And I'm pretty bullish on tech. I think there's a lot more coming with tech, and I still don't see us going into a bear market. Now, obviously, the war is has certainly pushed us a little bit closer in that direction for sure. Let's see, no cash substitute for the gold coin prize. No cash substitute. Yeah, but if you have to have a self-directed account. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. So yeah, I don't know. Now I don't know if you're saying they said no cash substitute, because if they're putting it as gold in your account, you could just sell that. That should be the way it works. But I don't know. I don't know. I never read all of the little text over there. Brian says, yes, Friday the 13th. No bikes down to Port Dover today, I am sure. The first answer to my chemistry joke. So Lance says H2O, 2. No, that's not what I'm going for. All right, now I know I go through a few of these and then I'll give you the answer here in a second. Hey guys, happy Friday. Another opportunity to buy some on sale stocks. By the way, don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, absolutely. Hit the like button, folks. Seabass says, I just changed my handle to Seabass, so it's easier to pronounce. Just for you. Thank you. I guess I must have been pronouncing it wrong. I'm bad at pronouncing stuff, guys. Lisa says Rules said they would send an email to the winners. Oh, interesting. Okay, there we go. You see, I should have read the rules. Pathfinder says 49. Oh, you're number 49. Oh, there's got to be 50 here by now. I'll just refresh it. We'll see. ATD looks mighty interesting here. So Alimentation Couche-Tard. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's jump over there. Boop-a-doop-boo. Here we go. ATD. All right. Look at that. Yeah, up 1.25 today. Gotta like that. Pull up the 1 year. Oh, look at this. Yeah, look at this. They've made a lot more movement. Now I want to pull up the 3 year because they're almost back to some of their all-time highs. So back in here, I sold out of that position. I had them in the 0 to 100K challenge. Now the reason I sold out was we had a lot of that 7-Eleven buy stuff coming, was in the news. And they had even announced back then that if they had acquired 7-Eleven, they were going to have to dilute their shares to pay for it. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to let that happen because I'll get in on the other side. But that deal, of course, went away. They still struggled nonetheless. It almost looks like they diluted shares, though they didn't. But yeah, now they're back up. That's great. Hopefully they can hold on. Look, hopefully they can hold on for sure. Jonathan says, yeah, go easy. Yeah, they were cooking the books for sure. And they're now restating the reports for 2024 and 2025. Yeah, I mean, they bought. So when they bought this company, so they bought it. So the current ownership bought it back, I think, towards the beginning of the pandemic. And it wasn't that much. Like, quite literally, it was like, I don't know, 250 million or something like that. And now, of course, it's grown to such a huge amount, but they've pretty much lost half of their market cap in a single day. So they've got a lot. They got a lot to fix. I still don't like them. I still don't like them. I still feel that they're kind of predatory lending, but nonetheless, it's a company that can survive if they do things right. But right now, they've lost a lot of support, and if the economy keeps on going the way it's been going lately, they may lose some more market cap. Rory, let's see. If a GSY upper manager was looking for work again, they wouldn't even be offered a mop job. I wouldn't hire him. I wouldn't. Let's see. I think they had a new CFO in September, and he eventually figured it out. It's funny you hire someone and then they out you. It's like, yep, you guys have been cooking these books. But isn't it? I mean, if I was a CFO and I got hired on a company and I found that they were kind of illegally fixing the numbers, I'd out them, because if you don't, then you basically become complacent, and then you technically, just by association, you're kind of guilty at that point. So no, just to protect your own reputation, you gotta out them. Lisa says, no, they just want to make sure you have a self-directed savings account. You have to take the physical gold. Oh, do you? Oh, well, I'm almost glad I didn't win that. I wanted to just cash it in. That's what I would have done. Instead of receiving a physical gold coin and then having to negotiate with a local seller, then you're not going to get your value, unfortunately, because there's a spread. Let's see. Sorry, investing account, not savings. All right, fair enough. Yes, I know. It's the same picture. Yes. Oh, maybe. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I'm all right. Bastion. Is that how we pronounce it? Bastion? I'm taking another shot. What can I say, Seabass? I gotta try. All right. Luke says, I'm looking at CAE to add to my aerospace basket of stocks. Flight simulators, apparently a lot of pilots will be hired in coming years and will need training. Thoughts? I do like CAE, and actually, let's pull them up. We have not looked at them in a while here. All right, so CAE Incorporated, and let's pull it up here. So yeah, they've actually been doing okay. Like this is the war. I take the war part with a grain of salt, right? But yeah, they have had, for the most part, they were moving up, higher highs. I like it. So yeah, no, I do like CAE, and I feel like I had them in a video recently, one of my list videos, probably last year. Scott, for GSY CFO meant Chief Financials Officer. There we go. Lentube says, jobs report today is very discouraging. What have the Liberals been doing for the past 10 years? Companies fleeing the U.S. auto industry collapsing, Conservatives always more fiscally responsible. Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to say this right now. I don't think it matters who's going to be in power. We're going to see more and more layoffs because, and this is kind of that transition towards AI. I think, I think by 2030, the amount of layoffs will be pretty interesting. I think by 2030, we're probably going to have to look at, how are we going to deal with a lot of people out of work? And it's moving in that direction. And to me, it doesn't matter who you have in. I think if you had Conservatives in power, they probably would try to slow it down a little more, because I think they would. But it is happening one way or another. Even if you're a fan of Elon, I don't know how many people still are, but he's been going on for years about UBI and that it's going to be necessary because we'll get to a point where AI will end up doing everything. And at that point, you can't basically have, you can't have a situation where you have 50% of the population without jobs. That would be if you're not giving them some kind of a support or a living support in one way or another, at that point, that's where, revolutions happen. I think it's going to be messy. It's going to be messy because I think there will be a lot of people who are going to resist it. But I don't think it's resistible, to be honest. That's what I think. Now, maybe I'm going to be completely wrong on it. And, that's fine. But that's just where I feel like we're going. Let's see. Okay, Lance says, did you say what's on the outside of a fire hydrant or fire extinguishers? If it's not hydrant, I'm guessing K9. You are correct. It's a joke, right? So K9P as in, dog pee. Yeah, there we go. You got it, Lance. Nice going. Lance, did you Google it? Seabass, have you done your taxes? I'm all done. The only thing missing, T5 from Wealthsimple. Interest from checking account. It says March 31st is when they'll be ready. I haven't even looked at my taxes yet. Now, my taxes are due, I think it's June 15th, something like that. So I got lots of time. But I do think I have all the information for mine. So yeah, I might do them sooner than later, but I'll have to see. All right, Brian, that is all I am missing as well, Seabass. Also, I don't see the $200 the government gave us back at the beginning of 2025. Did they give us 200? I don't know. And I think isn't there supposed to be another thing coming out soon, like some kind of a food credit or something? Like if I don't know the exact date on that one. If that's coming out in July or something, I think it passed. I think it actually passed in the House, so it's obviously coming out at one point, but I don't know exactly when. So what can I say? Lance says, no, I'm half asleep in my crane and was listening to the stream when I heard what I thought was a riddle. Thought you said fire extinguisher. Oh, okay. No fire extinguishers, but hey. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention last stream? We'll mention it this stream. So in March, there's a March Madness that the Blossom folks are running with the creators. So not that, well, the people who are ambassadors. So they've put us into teams. And basically every time one of you guys goes over, signs up for Blossom, I get a point. Provided you use my code. I'm going to drop that in here right now. And then we're going to take a look at it here in a second. All right, so here is my code. So I'm with a bunch of little people, and I'm like, come on, guys. I'm sure we can win. Although I will say we're not winning. We're not winning by, we're falling pretty far behind here. So right now, Blue Whale, so this is me. So right now I'm tied for 6. I'm tied with the Purple Penguin. So me and Purple Penguin, we're sitting at 5. And this Green Owl person, somebody new, they've popped up into number 1. So they've got like 18. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh gosh. I think a lot of you guys are already on Blossom, so it's kind of like, I'm talking to those of you who are not yet on Blossom. If you wouldn't mind, just grab my link, download the app. Whether you're active on it or not, that's fine. I like it, and I will say one thing about Blossom, guys. Here, let's pull up the main thing. When I am on Blossom, I like to. Oh, you guys might have saw that message there. That was from, oh my God, who was that from? Anyway, somebody was asking me to be on their show. So it's like, okay, I didn't reply. Oh gosh, I got to reply to that. All right. But this is the main, I'm going to go to homepage. I don't think this, yeah. So this is the main stream. I never go through here. And I'll tell you why. Because I want to know what you guys are saying. So I always go through right here. I always go through my notifications because all of the people who I am following, I will see what they're saying. And right now, like here, let's see, AIS and Freaky Dude like your comment. Okay. Fanny followed. All right, there we go. I think I'm up to date. But I like to go through here. That way there, if you guys post something, I might see it. If you really want me to see your post, because I may not see it at the same time, there's still a lot of people going through this, just put an @Mountain Finance there, sign in there, and I'll get it in my notifications like over here, and I'll come check it out. Nobody's mentioned me in 4 days, so, keep me working, guys, keep me working. And I am also trying to post more over here as well, so all of that fun stuff. So that's Blossom. I do like it over there. Now you can, if you want, and this is the cool thing. So you can connect your portfolio. So there's a couple ways you can do it. If you're on like Wealthsimple, you can just have them have them pull it from your API. So basically, they just get a read-only copy from Wealthsimple. They don't even know how much money you're making. Well, they do. Actually, they do know how much, but that is only you seeing it. Everybody else will just see percentages. Now, when you look at your own, you'll see dollar amount. So I've got right now, I manually have added the 0 to 100K challenge over here. So this is the 0 to 100K challenges. So today it's down $193. But when you look at anybody else in here, let me show you. Let me just go, let's go to home and let's grab, I don't know who this person is. This is Nick. So Nick, as you'll notice here, it's all percentages. So nobody sees how much you're making or know how much you got. They'll see, they might see, you know, and that's if you add it, you don't have to add it. Like I add it because I think it's cool if you guys want to go in and take a look at the 0 to 100K. And you could do a lot when you're in there too, guys. So if you're into the 0 to 100K, you could be looking here and you could be like, this bird construction, what's going on here? So you can click on it and it'll actually bring up the charts and it'll bring up a little bit of information, some of their financials as well, and give you their earnings calendar. And, you know, and plus you'll see people who've been talking about it. So that's always kind of cool. Now, speaking of bird construction, I think they just had an earnings report. Guys, let's actually take a quick look. BDT. There we go. Bird construction, bang. All right, and look. Oh, before we even pull them up, they're up 3.78%. I'm thinking they had a good earnings. Yeah, here it is right here. Look at this giant, whoops. Get rid of that. Giant green candle. Let's pull up their earnings here. Let's just pull up the raw data. So, okay, interesting. So they did beat. They beat on earnings by 8.52%, but they were down slightly on the revenue there by 3.20%. But you know what? It kind of shows that earnings does tend to hold a little bit more of power. And I heard as well that their forward guidance looked pretty good. So obviously, people liked it. I think maybe, well, actually, you know what it looks like? Because they entered the day here, it looks like probably because of that revenue, it must have went down and then people digested the rest of it and it went way up. But yeah, Bird Construction, I love this company. I have them in the 0 to 100K challenge. They are one of the leaders. In fact, let me pull up the 0 to 100K challenge, drag it over here, and here's Bird Construction right here. So currently, they're up 69.01% total return in the challenge. So good old Bird Construction. I'm liking it. Oh, I've got a few that are down right now. Oh, eBank is actually in the negative. Oh my gosh. eBank and Fish. Fish. I got to admit, Fish is probably a royalty company I wouldn't have grabbed normally. I like them though. I do like them. And they're, they are looking at gold and things like that. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Anyway, there was the Blossom part. I got a Blossom in. Let's see. CBAS. I'm also due in June, but I want my 3K return ASAP. Oh, there you go. I've got nothing coming back. So I'm not, I'm not in any hurry. Let's see. If you are sleeping, you can't see the hand signals, Ian. Let's see here. What Canadian sector do you think will benefit most when the war in Iran is over? Materials, Canadian tech, or energy? Gosh. Of those three, I think materials will probably bounce back the most. Energy, well, with the war being over, you're going to see oil coming down, so energy, absolutely not. Canadian tech, I think they're just going to do their own thing. So I don't see the end of the war being a big boost. It'll probably help them a little bit, but I think materials will probably have the biggest out of those three. All right, late to the show, but did I miss the Canada is imploding conversation? Yeah. I mean, we're... we got about 10 minutes left of show left. So, and then I got a plan tonight. I am going to watch part 4 of a new dinosaur documentary. What an exciting Friday night! I might even pop some popcorn for that one because this is the one where apparently this asteroid's on the way. So gotta check it out. It's actually pretty good, guys. Steven Spielberg, is behind this one. So and it's brand new over on Netflix. All right, Alance says, my crane is done for the day. Feet up and YouTube open. Nice. And Brian says, I do steel construction, mostly renovation work, so I have worked a lot with cranes. My nephew is also a crane operator. Roy, Lance, are you a crane operator in the international yards or construction? And let's see here. I will actually say I've never actually been very close to a crane in my life, but I've seen them. Brian, let's see, that ends at the end of March. Then I start my new company on my own and do industrial maintenance for one main customer. We'll probably average 4 days a week. And let's see, mine is a crane for steelmaker. It's an indoor crane, not outdoors. Outdoors would be fun. And Rory said, cool. Brian said, let's see, the last time I got my certification for an overhead crane, the instructor gave me crap. Said I couldn't operate the hoist, trolley, and bridge at the same time. I said that rule is for rookies. Yeah, and that's kind of like my mom. My mom used to drive really fast, and I used to say, you are driving past the speed limit. And my mom used to always say, oh, the speed limit's just for new drivers. If you're experienced enough, you can go faster. That's some of her sage advice, and plus, a lot of times she would always catch somebody going at the speed limit, and she'd complain about slow drivers. And I was just like, no, it's just you're catching the people going at the speed limit because you're driving way too fast. All right. Lance says, didn't Canada make a deal with Japan that somehow involves Canadian tech? Yes, there was a deal that was made. Oh gosh, I can't remember the exact specifics of it, but you are right. There was a deal that was struck, and I'm trying to. No, it's not coming to me. The Netflix one, it was, yeah, exactly, Punky. Yeah, exactly. And it's brand new, guys. It was just released this year. Like, I think it was like released within the last 2 weeks or so. Lance says, I train people from time to time. It takes people time to get good. Let's see. Railway conductor is a 6-month course. Slamming trains together takes about that long. There we go. And Michael says, hello, Candace. I just used AI to see if the tax credit known as Relieve 31 of Quebec could help me out, and it only benefits those who earn less than 50K. Why is there nothing middle income? Oh, this, Michael, don't know. I have no idea. I've never even heard of the Relieve 31. So, I occasionally touch on taxes, but usually it's taxes in relation to investing. So yeah, I do not know the answer to that, unfortunately. If anybody does, feel free to throw it into the chat. Jan, I'm watching Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets with my kids for pizza birthday night. Okay, cool. Let's see. Whatnot, I am on Blossom now. Nice, niece. All right, be sure to follow me so I can follow you right back and comment on your stuff. Lance says, I think Canadian tech will make a comeback in or before 2027. Canada will be booming soon. Well, let's hope. And Rory says, Blossom is still dead to me. All right. Fair enough, Rory. Fair enough. All right, guys, we're coming up to the end here. If you got any last minute questions, get them in right now. Get them in right now so that we can, we can get them. We can get to them before the show expires on us. So, because like I said, I got a hot dinosaur night just waiting for me. And it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Actually, one of the nice things about this this one is that a lot of the dinosaurs have feathers. So, they're using all of the up-to-date research, and I like that quite a bit. All right. Let's see. Michael says, thanks, Candace. Just bitter than there are a few tax credits for single middle income Canadians. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's, yeah, if you are in that middle bracket, it's kind of like there's not a lot there for you. Like, the upper brackets, that's where you start using loopholes. The lower brackets, yikes. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Michael. and this is not a bad idea. If you ever thought about starting like a side hustle, as long as you're making some money with it, you might be able to sort of leverage your house as a little bit of a tax write-off. So if you have an office dedicated to a side hustle, you can write off part of your utilities. Now, it usually comes down to square feet, right? So if you're, let's say you had a house that was 100 square feet and your office is 10 square feet. I'm just picking those numbers. Obviously, they're unrealistic. I'm just picking them just so that you can sort of see the 10% of 100. In that case there, you would then be able to write off like 10% of the rent would be a write-off. 10% of the utilities would be a write-off. So just something to think about. All right. Jan says, Questrade fixed my book amounts. They asked me to read them out for them. I could have said anything. I didn't want to go to jail, though. I did lose a lot, though, from not having access at these times. All right. Fair enough. But I'm glad that they fixed it. I thought if you talk to them that they would do something. I mean, I may not be a huge fan of Questrade, but, I figured there'd be something. Seabass says, I love the new dinosaur documentaries too. I'm going to watch that too. There we go. There we go. See? Dinosaurs. What can I say? Paul says you cannot use more 50% of area of your house for side hustle. Otherwise, it turns taxable when you sell. This is what my accountant said. That might make sense. That might make sense. I think for most small, if it's a small business, I mean, I can't see why you would even get to a point where you're getting over 50% for sure. But yeah, there's probably, and this is the thing, guys, I'm just giving you what I know. Obviously, you want to check with an accountant in a case like this just to be double checked, because I'm not a tax expert by any means. I understand taxes on ETFs. I understand taxes on stocks. But, there are little things out there you can do, especially if you do have that side hustle, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to having, setting it up as a business. And in some cases, I think in some cases, you almost have to do it as a business. So just something to keep in mind, guys. All right. Well, guys, I think we've made it. We made it to the end. We made it to the weekend. We will be back here on Sunday. We're going to do this all over again. I can't wait. I love the weekend for sure. All right. Oh, just a second. Brian says, I'm not even sure if I will bother with the home office write-off. It's a pain gathering all the info and some strict rules if you read carefully. Oh yeah, no, I mean, you gotta dot your I's and cross your T's for sure. Scott says, bye-bye. All right. Well, that's going to happen here in a moment. Guys, so once again, thank you guys for dropping in. This has been a fantastic show. We'll be back here on Sunday for the big weekend show. See if the war does anything crazy over the weekends. Hopefully not. And we'll also be back on Monday. And guys, today's video, VDY versus HDIV. Check it out if you haven't checked it out already. I'm going to go and let's see, have fun. But yeah, I'm going to go and do what Samantha just recommended. I'm going to enjoy my dinosaurs. So I will see you all later. And guys, before I go, I do have 2 words I want to say. And Scott knows what they are. They're bye-bye.